Hey, welcome back to Cat Fantasy. We're now 2 months since the global launch, and I wanted to add in a quick combat video and a 2-month update since I forgot the combat video in my previous one. And if you've already played this game, you already know how this works, but if you haven't, then feel free to take a look and then we'll get into the update portion of what's kind of changed since 2 months ago. So let's go. Now in your pre-battle section, you've got your main heroes that you have. Right now you have 4 of them, I believe, is your complete max you can get. I haven't beaten the whole game yet, but I've got 4. There is a total of 6 pre-made teams that you can actually choose from. You can click on a hero to change them out to someone else if you want. You can auto team if that's available for the battle that you're doing. The little catos at the bottom here get unlocked a little bit later on, I think chapter 4 or 5, but you get an extra active and a passive skill when you unlock those guys. Total team power is up at the top and enemy recommended power down on the bottom. If you're ever below your recommended power level, it'll be in red, so you know right away. Top right is your resonance, which gives you an extra buff for the combo of hero colors that you're using. Confirm the battle, go into it. Now at the start of the battle, it's going to classify you as either offensive or defensive, depending on the strongest hero you have in your party and the strongest enemy that is in their party. This is a card-based system, so you get 1 attack per hero you have on the field per round. You can click on the enemy if you want to before you can set your attack. You can click and hold on the icon in the upper right of the card, and it'll tell you what the ability does. If you see a blue arrow, that means that you have a stronger attack against the enemy's color, and the pink means that it's weaker, so that's pretty simple. In the bottom left hand corner, you have your color strength, and if you click in it, you actually get a bigger diagram, which is really nice. So it's typical: red beats green, green beats blue, blue beats red. And then you've got red versus white, which are like your other special heroes. Now, when you use a card, you might get another card that gets fused together if you have another card of the same type. So in this case, I already got one that's fused. It's in pink. And the stronger, the more you fuse cards, the stronger they're going to get. Now, either way, you gain 1 SP point when you either fuse a card or use a card. And that builds up your SP meter. And then when your SP is completely maxed out, then you get your ultimate. Ending battle screen shows you where your experience is currently at, what your chance was of what you might have gotten from that battle, and then anything that was guaranteed that you got along with your coins. Let's go ahead and run through it again. I'm going to turn on auto battle so you can see what that looks like. The system is actually really fast at being able to pick your attacks. But fair warning, if you have like a buff hero or like a healer in there, it's not always as smart as it should be, and sometimes it might run through and heal when you really don't need it, or it might turn on a shield when you really don't need it. So it's usually best to use auto battle if you just want like straight attacks, I think, but it just depends on the circumstance. That's pretty much it when it comes to battles. I'm pretty below average, probably on the number of hours I put into this game for the last 2 months, but someone who can put in a lot more than me per day will be a lot further ahead, obviously, for the game being out for as long as it has. I'm on section 7-15, for example. Now, most stuff unlocks once you get through chapter 7, but there's still some other things you gotta wait on, such as pathos weapons, the ability, the quick delivery for the cafe, and that's split into several different districts, and those all unlock at various levels, and those districts all need to be unlocked here in the Kato City section, and the challenge mode doesn't unlock until you beat the whole main story, which I think is 17-15. Now for me, the storyline is kind of a highlight of the game. You can completely skip it if you want, but I think the way it plays out, it's like a decent anime, and it deserves some attention. Now the cafe, the micromanaging of the cafe. Oh my, the cafe. All right, the cafe is probably still the weakest point of the whole game next to the fishing, but this is where they put the katos that you get to collect, and those guys do come in handy for combat, and this is where you get your reoccurring income. And until you can increase the mood of each of your heroes that you use in the cafe, they wear out pretty fast, and then you have to keep resting them. So it's just one of those things. It would be great if they could change that somehow down the line. I don't know. Now also in chapter 7, you're going to unlock the invasion battle, and you need the invasion battle in order to get the cube shards. And the cube shards you need because you can't level up your heroes past level 35 unless you have those. And if you don't have them, then you're pretty much stuck. And you can only do those 3 times per day, and you can only get so far in them because they're really, really hard, and you can accept like help from your friends, you can seek assistance from the AI or from other clans and whatnot. But one of the more useful things that you get down the road as you play is unlocking the equipment section. And with the equipment, all of those things can be leveled up and start up. And I'm sure getting a hold of some of those gear sets is probably a big thing for some people. It would probably be cool if you could toggle like on and off a visual aspect of seeing the gear on your Felinians, but you can't do that. So with your gear here, I'm gonna click one. You can upgrade it, which is really neat. You're gonna need these little guys, the enhancement metal, in order to do that. And as you upgrade it, you'll get to a point where it can be start up just like a lot of other things in this game. You can filter the kind of gear sets that you want. If you go to choose a set, you can choose a kind of set that might be good for this particular hero. So like, for example, this hero is mostly support. So if I click support, I don't have any, but it would show like just the support here, which is pretty neat. You also can do equipment presets, and you can filter those again by various specific gear types that you have, and then you can save it. I think that's really cool. You can quick equip really fast if you want. You can also go to the salvage section so you can get rid of the old gear that you don't want anymore. And all you got to do is just click something that isn't already equipped, hit salvage, and then you'll get more of those enhancement medals back. I'm sure there's a lot of other little things that have unlocked in the last couple of chapters up to this point that I'm completely forgetting about, but most of those are various little elements that give you like minor improvements here and there. Unlocking the rest of the districts probably has the biggest impact overall from this point of where I'm at forward, but I really like how they spread out various things that you can get over the course of the game. It keeps it fresh to me, like instead of unlocking almost everything in just the first couple of chapters, then you don't have like anything really left. They kind of went the opposite route, right? And they just kind of spread it out, which is really neat. Now, if you follow the storyline, it does take a bit more hours than I thought to even get halfway through the game like I am. So to me, this doesn't come off as like a completely fly-by-night mobile game. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I know it's not groundbreaking, but I feel like effort went into it, and they seem to keep the events going pretty strong. They're pretty consistent, and that's probably going to be one of your biggest replayabilities after you beat the main story along with multiplayer, even though honestly I don't know how you unlock that yet. I'm sure they'll also do like various collabs down the line. I like the game. It's something that I enjoy like on a daily basis. I don't enjoy the cafe management, and I wish they would overhaul a bit so it's not so tedious and more automated, and I wish they gave you access to the multiplayer early on like they do in Counter-Strike, for example. It's not a perfect game, nothing is, but I hope after I beat the game and have everything unlocked, I'll make one final follow-up video so you know what to expect. But that's all for this one. This has been Blue Screen Attack. Have a good one.
行っておいで。せっかだな。私の滑りを目に焼き付けるといい。行きます。切る。